There we go. We're live now. We're waiting for a few people to get in here, but we're going to go over basics for flerfs today. I've even drawn stick figures for this one, because I've ran into some incredibly stupid comments today, especially after doing our ungodly long 6-hour stream last night. Sean says he's going to jump in here in a little bit. Big Blue has a link if he wants to jump in. Awesome new video, by the way, at his comeback at Riley. So if you guys haven't seen that, be sure to go watch that as soon as you're done here. And remember to like and subscribe to Blue Marble Science. Sean Hawkins will be in here. We'll go over the debate that he'll be having tomorrow. And hopefully somebody can fill me in on what happened on Jose's show, because I slept through it. But today we're going to go over some basic shit that, anybody should be able to understand about basics regarding some of the common attacks that flat earthers like to use. Because I heard some really dumb shit today. So we'll be going over that here in a few minutes. I'll be keeping an eye on the live chat and on YouTube as much as possible. What's up, NANA? I see you over there. We got 4 people watching. Sean, you have a link on your Discord if you want to jump over here. I believe everybody else over there has one right now too. But yeah, so anybody in the live chat got anything they want to have as a topic tonight before we go live? Well, we're waiting on some peoples to get here. If not, give me a few minutes and we're going to go over some basic stuff. Ah, shit. Globe Flicker's back in the chat. That bastard. Oh, we're all having fun. Sean says he's in the middle of something. He'll be on later. Awesome. Yeah, Chris Berry got wrecked by Sean G in his newest video. If you guys haven't checked out Sean G, be sure to like, subscribe, and check him out. Also, be sure to like and subscribe and check out our friend Jose. You can find him here. Drop that link right now. Let's see. NANA, 2 of the dumbest things I've ever heard. A circle can have less than 360 degrees. I would love to see the math on that. And the only legit photo is a Polaroid. Nightbot is running slow tonight. Maybe Metal's playing around with my Nightbot, because I was trying to drop the command for Jose. Give it a few minutes and Nightbot will be up and active. What else? What else is going on today? Oh, let's see. We're going to go over the fact that I heard today that they measured a 3-degree up tilt on aircraft. We're going to go over why that is a thing and why, thrust angles are important. We're going to go over actual angle of attack and how it relates. Inside corners of a triangle. Ooh, here we go, chat. If I have a triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1, what are the insides of a triangle? What are their internal angles? Idiots. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We got that. There we go, Sean. Globe Flipper got timed out by Nightbot, so Nightbot is apparently up and running. That's awesome. So now this should work, so we'll go. Oh, you're awesome, Tommy. Like I said, I just dropped a link to everybody over there, so you're good. You are good. Nightbot time globe flicker out. There we go. Nightbot's working. So all of our commands are option functional. We also have be sure to check out Blue Marble Science. I don't have a link attached to this, but here's his quote. Globe flicker getting in a fight with Nightbot. Sean Hawkins. Interesting challenge. Here's a challenge. Put a point on a sphere that isn't tangent. That'd be a fun one. I have 6 people watching this right now, so let's go over some basics and see what kind of questions this brings up from the chat. Click to this other screen real quick. Blam. Bring this up. All right. Camera's getting ready to fire up, so as soon as it shows my ugly mug, we can go over this nice little sticky figure diagram I drew. And also, for when laser beams get here, it is braided. I don't have the beads in it yet, but they will be there shortly. So, we have that. I did do it. It's braided. All right. So now, on to our drawing. Yeah. Let's get this up here where we see. Okay. Here we have my lovely little stick figure of an airplane. Come on. Nice little stick figure. Very basic. But yeah. This is basics. Yeah. Yeah, very basic stuff. How's it going, Big Blue?
Oh, it's going good. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I've been, I slept after a 6-hour stream last night finally. So yeah, we got our. Let me present myself to everybody so we can see this. Now we're gonna go over some basics because I heard some really stupid shit getting thrown around in other chats earlier. Lock it on myself. All right, so we have our very basic little sort of Sequoia looking. I don't know, just a basic airframe. Have our main wing, horizontal stabilizer, vertical stabilizer, basics. And if you notice, I got 4 little vector lines drawn around this bitch. We have our forward thrust. We have drag. We have lift from the wing, and then we have this downward force that we're covering against. Whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's definitely not buoyancy that makes this shit work.
No, that's droppity.
So, yeah, it's droppity, floppity, whatever the hell they want to call it right now.
Crashity.
Anyway, crashity. This is how flight works. Now, those are the basics of the forces that we all have to maintain balance just to fly straight and level. I'm pretty sure everybody can agree on most of that. However, we're constantly fighting the downward force. So we have, I'll just draw another airfoil real quick. And draw a center line. And we've got our fuselage hanging out around that, and we have a thrust line going down it from our prop. So now, drawing number 2. We have our basic airfoil down here, which would be our main wing from this diagram, with a line drawn through the center, roughly the center of it, and what would be a thrust line from the engine. The difference in these 2 angles is angle of attack, not whatever you guys want to keep calling it today. So the reason y'all can measure a 3-degree up tilt on an aircraft if the thrust lines aren't compensated right or it's carrying whatever load requirements it has, in order for that wing to generate lift to keep you from falling out of the sky on your flight, you have to maintain an upward flight angle. Period. That's all there is to it. It's not much. And on smaller aircraft, you can generate thrust lines. Like the firewall on the aircraft we're using is not square to the airframe at all. Who's messing? So we got lots of things going on. So that's basically what's going on. I kind of opened the panel of other things I could draw, but I crazy stuff. and all kinds of other bullshit today. Lots of weird shit, mostly regarding. So, other than Big Blue, let me check my live chat. Can anybody in my live chat tell me how an airfoil works? No. All right. Let me go over my very basic understanding of this from RC shit, but it should be relatively the same thing. Works the same way on a race car. So let me see if I can redneck my way through this. We have our airfoil. I really need to get better at doing graphics on my computer. So we have our airfoil. We have oncoming air traveling in this direction that hits the leading edge of our airfoil and gets split over the top where it's accelerated and maintains its speed along the bottom. When we accelerate the air over the top of the wing, we create a low pressure area. Against this high pressure area, the high pressure area actually pushes up on the bottom of the wing, along with some other basic stuff that's going on there. But that's pretty much the basics. I think I covered that pretty much right, didn't I, Blue?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a dynamic pressure on the bottom side of the wing because it is flying at a positive angle of attack.
Yeah.
At all times,
So,
no matter which direction the nose is pointed, there's a thing called relative wind, and the airfoil has an angle of attack to the relative wind. If it doesn't, you've got a lot of problems.
Yeah, lots of problems, which we'll be going over on Double D, because it does run, and we did do some taxi tests today, and I after running my lovely little simulation program I got from SkyVector, I am reinforcing the hell out of the main wing. There's a lot higher G loading at the bottom of that dive than I thought I would have. It actually works really good without the container underneath of it. I could do anything I wanted to the airframe, but that extra roughly 5 pounds that it adds to the airframe, I've got some stress issues I need to work out.
Yeah, that'll put a lot of stress on the spars.
Yeah, I've already got rid of the aluminum main wing spar and replaced it with a thicker diameter carbon fiber tube without adding too much weight. And I'm going to strip the covering back on the leading edges, and I have some carbon fiber and some resin, and I'm going to reinforce the leading edges of the wing and see what that gives me. According to my simulation, and after doing some tests with weights today on the wing, I do have a torsional stiffness issue I need to take care of. Aileron flutter would be bad at the speeds we're going to be flying at.
Yeah.
So, especially with this aircraft, again, this experiment is not like the safest thing in the world. Don't try this unless you know what the hell you are doing with this airplane. It would end it has the potential to end very badly. So I'm trying to eliminate those.
What speed will you be at when you start pulling out of that?
Right around 150, 160.
Yeah. That's not too bad, but it's still.
Yeah, it's well, the plane was designed for. If you've seen the RC stuff, it was originally designed as a 3D airplane, so it's built really light from the start. Not like a scale plane would be, or even a stick. It's built really light to maintain a high power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we're going to go over some basics of that. The other basics I want to go over tonight is who can tell me how pretty much any combustion engine runs. What is required for that? Because I heard more flurfy special ed stuff today that, compression isn't required for an engine to work.
Really?
I thought compression was CGI.
Yeah, well, I was told that turbojets do not need to compress the air in order to generate thrust the way they do. This is how they can get away with doing the compressed air thing.
Is that why they have that section in the engine called a compressor?
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, they had some weird weird stuff going on. So apparently, at altitude and at cruising speed, there is enough air to spin the compressor blades themselves to compress the air enough to generate thrust and maintain that going. I tried to argue with them that, friction is a thing and you need to maintain the speeds on them blades. And that requires something acting on them. And they weren't happy with that. They kept trying to come back to the ram air effect.
Oh my God.
Which is awesome, and it's a thing, and it works. But you have to
still got to burn fuel.
Yeah, you have to burn fuel to keep the blades running. Does it get more efficient? Yeah, they're also efficient once you start packing air into them. But the fan blades and compressor blades are not going to run by themselves.
Afraid not.
They took it off. They took it off on a weird tangent blue with like the jet tail cones moving in and out to change the thrust coming out of the tail of a jet engine. I know the basics of how turbojet engine works, but I'm not up to the science on it. It's way above what I normally would be fucking with, but I know the basics. Though they said that had something to do with how it could generate. They can manipulate the tail cone to change the thrust versus how much air comes in, and they could use the tail cone sliding in and out to maintain a constant thrust coming out of the back of the engine just from the air coming in the front, which doesn't work. Yeah. Welcome to Flataria, where physics is like some crazy shit that doesn't exist.
Flataria, where physics goes to die.
Right. Well, they tried bringing up the what the hell do they call that? The ramjet engines that supposedly NASA and everybody's been working on that have no moving parts. Well, they still have to get up to ungodly high speed in order just to fire that engine.
That is true.
And you have to compress the air. You have to ignite it. You have to burn fuel. That's just the way shit works. You have to have something to expand your compressed gas in order to create thrust to push the vehicle. Whether that's your piston in your engine, a turbojet, a rocket engine, anything. It's all got to have something to cause the air to try and expand after you compress it.
Yeah, you're lost without it.
Yeah, I've heard some weird stuff. Man, and your new video, I think I was the first one to comment on it, has already pissed people off on the 27 Flat Earth Discord.
Good. I meant to. I'm sorry, Anthony Griley is a fucking idiot.
I will agree with that, dude. He is
whatever nitwit could come up with the concept that the mass of the accelerometer somehow has, or the mass of the telephone somehow has something to do with what acceleration reading you would get from the accelerometer in it. What?
Yeah,
that's exactly
that
what
makes absolutely. I know. I watched his video after I watched yours, and it was just freaking cherry picking idiot. That's not how even a basic accelerometer doesn't work that way.
You can't make it measure. You cannot make an accelerometer measure anything except acceleration. That's it. That's all it will do.
Right.
Hence the name accelerometer.
Even the basic ones we used to do when I was a kid doing the model rockets in fucking grade school and shit with a paper clip and a spring on a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, that's an accelerometer.
Yeah, you can measure how hard your rocket was accelerating, and you could scale it out, and then you could do the math and figure out all kinds of shit.
Yeah, make a mark or something, and sure.
Yeah, then that was a basic junior high experiment where I went to school.
Yeah, that's a fundamental method of doing it. Very simple method.
Yeah, it's not like the super complicated, detailed, precise method of getting it, but you will get a basic. You can scale it, I guess is the best word.
Yeah,
you can see the results of what was going on. But I mean, his idea of how an accelerometer works was freaking nuts.
That's just so bizarre. I don't even really know how to talk about it at that level.
I mean,
you got so many things wrong.
I was trying to figure out how to word it because the level of retardedness with that was just, it's like these guys tried to skip all the basic building blocks and building a good foundation for knowledge and jump straight into massive shit they have no idea about because they don't have a solid foundation with the basics.
Well, that's the problem with guys like Anthony. They have no particular technical training.
Right.
They've taken no time in their life to try to learn it or let anybody that does know about it explain it to them. And when you do try to explain it to them, their answer is nuh-uh. They want to go on gut feel. I'll tell you, there's, and I understand people don't understand a lot of these things. That's fairly normal. If you've never been through all the stuff about centripetal force, most laymen on the planet would guarantee you that centrifugal force is a real force. They think that. Mm-hmm. They believe that. They think they feel that going around the curve in the car and all that. They feel that that's a real force. Something until you say, what's pushing you? Mm-hmm. Tell me what is pushing on you. And the answer is nothing. It's not a real force. Right. Centripetal force is the real force. That's the string that's holding the weight, that you're swinging around in a circle. That's the real force. Centripetal force is what you're feeling that makes you want to continue going in a straight line.
Right. You're feeling the actual force that's trying to hold you in that straight line.
Yeah, you feel like you're going out, but you're not. You're trying to go straight.
Right.
Now, that's intuitively, that is not an easy thing to see.
No, and it's like the biggest reason I have a good understanding of it is because with the race car stuff, it's forces that we deal with when we're setting suspension up on these things all the time because your car wants to continue to go straight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Unless you've got that string holding onto it, that centripetal force holding onto it, that velocity vector is straight.
Exactly.
The centripetal force is the thing that's bending the velocity vector around in a circle. That's what it does. It's that simple. Makes sense after you see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm really starting to notice with some of these guys is they don't have the basics. Like they're missing steps.
Yep.
To what's going on, and it would be like it'd be like me giving somebody a high performance small block in a box in pieces and telling them to put it together.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
well, then Anthony decides he's going to go and double down and once again use that 1/50 millionth bullshit from the Cavendish experiment.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That idiot. Cavendish wasn't measuring the mass of the little ball. He was trying to figure out the gravitational constant. He was actually trying to weigh the Earth, is what he was doing.
Right.
Ended up with the universal gravitational constant by accident. Not by accident. I mean, it's just necessary. But that really wasn't what he was out to find out. He wanted to know how massive the Earth was.
Right, and that's the other thing that came up was the so they were beating up on like maybe a junior high kid on the 24/7 Discord because he jumped in there with questions. And that's the dangerous side of this whole thing for me. The kid jumped in with questions on their beliefs, and all they did was attack his model. They couldn't show any evidence for theirs, which is what the kid was looking for, but just straight jumping against his belief at an age where he probably doesn't have the knowledge to, really fight with these guys.
If there's You know, if it was just limited to full-grown adults who just want to be intentionally ignorant, I could give a shit whether they think the world is flat or round or whether gravity exists or not or any of that. That's fine with me. Believe what you want.
Yep.
What I don't like is when they're out there on YouTube potentially poisoning the minds of kids that don't know any better yet.
Exactly.
That's the part that's not right.
Yeah, that's the part that I think a lot of us don't like.
There's a lot of dangerous stuff that goes with the flat Earth stuff, especially when you're talking about younger generations coming up. Sean Hawkins, the link's in your Discord, but if you give me a second, I'll send you another one.
I got it. I'll do it.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. You're going to take these kids and they're automatically going to start questioning the government, and they're automatically going to start questioning this, and they're automatically going to start questioning everybody's out to get them, and you create an entirely paranoid society.
All right, you're all set, Sean.
Does the government keep secrets? Hell, I hope so.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
God, I hope so. I hope we're not telling everybody in the world what we're up to.
No. The thing, like,
does NASA keep secrets? I don't really think so. I'm sure they keep a few. I'm sure they keep a few, technologically speaking. They've got to hang on to some of that stuff. You wouldn't want it out in the public, but you know, are they constantly lying to us? Hell no, they're not. Is the stuff real? You bet your ass it is.
The word is good. Just finished Blue Marble's latest video. Great job. Glad to hear you can tie your shoes.
Yeah, I showed Anthony what my boots look like.
It was a good video.
Those steel toes will hurt too.
If I was an entity as big as NASA and I was doing the things that NASA is doing, fuck no, I'm not going to tell everybody the ins and outs of what I do daily.
Here we go. We shouldn't. I mean,
not going to happen.
Hell no.
A lot of that technology is proprietary. They spent the money to do it and develop it. They're using it for their purposes. And when they get it dialed in, I can see them then releasing it to other aerospace agencies for their own purposes. They have done this in the past. But why do we need to know what they're developing now if it's still not a viable platform for anything? Perfect example is the ramjet engines that everybody's working on. We know they work. We've had test flights of ramjet engines before.
What's a ramjet engine?
Engine with no moving parts.
It's basically a pipe that you blow a shitload of air through and squirt some fuel in it and then light it off.
Oh, Roger Ramjet, he's our man, hero of our nation.
What's up, Sean?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Sean? So yeah, it's basically
I'll give you
a very efficient. Go ahead, Blue.
No, I'll give you a great example of when keeping secrets makes a hell of a lot of sense. We managed to win the first Gulf War in 100 hours for one reason only. Nobody really knew anything about GPS.
Yep.
The military had it. Saddam Hussein didn't know we even had such a thing.
Yep.
He had no idea that left hook was coming, and no concept that anybody could navigate through that featureless desert the way we did.
Exactly.
That's the reason why you need to keep a few things secret.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of things going on that we don't need to know the ins and outs of to know that they fucking work. There's lots of things the thing that gets me with them is they take stuff that's built on, what do they call it, globe science. That's what they're using to spout their bullshit on the internet daily.
Yep.
None of this would work without fucking base shit. The word is good. Jets run on compressed air. I done saw a video on YouTube that said so.
There you
go. Sean, what you got going on your channel tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, I'm gonna have a like a flat Earth, round Earth, like a flat Earth Hangout, kind of like this. But I've got it
Cool.
set up through OBS, so nobody will be able to snipe anybody else or mute anybody.
Cool, man.
Oh yeah. Do I get a link to that? Can I come play?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll put a link when I start it. I'll do an introduction and introduce the channel and say what it's about, and then I'll put the link in, and it's first come, first serve.
Awesome, Sean.
So
Sweet. Oh, we got Curve Pimp hanging out in here too. I was watching the YouTube chat, so I just brought the hangout back up.
He asked for a
What's
link.
up,
I dropped
Curve?
him a link, but he never hit it, apparently.
He's in here.
Oh, is he? What's up,
I'm
Kirk
here.
Pimp?
yeah,
Looking at his picture right now.
Yeah, I can't see. I have my thing on pause. So I'm just in
Oh.
the chat.
yeah, I was a little busy, so couldn't come on until now.
Oh, you're good. Like I said, we're just going over the general retardedness that I heard in Flatardia today.
Oh, right on.
After the non-ending stream we had last night that lasted for over 6 hours.
Jesus.
We still
That
had
was fun
10
last
people.
night.
We still had 10 people watching at 4:30 in the morning.
Cool.
Oh yeah, dude, it was crazy. We had Rapid X in here for a while early in the morning. Hey, get out of my cheese. Sorry about that. So yeah, it was a fun night. We got Curve in here. What are you up to tonight, Curve?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. How's your globe training going?
Oh, it's going terrible.
Have they made it into orbit yet?
Working on orbit trading, but right now, bag puppet's acting pretty badly.
So if you guys haven't had a chance to check out Curve's channel, jump over and check it out. He's got some hilarious stuff on there, just going over random stuff. The Orphan Red puppet video was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
But,
Fuck Orphan Red.
Yeah, yeah. She's gone off the rails. Huh?
I'm yeah, her. Haven't seen much of her since she went on her whole DMCA strike mission.
Nah, she's on Twitch or something.
Yeah, she jumped over there. We have a Twitch channel too, but we don't use it as often as we use this.
Yeah, her audience is 14-year-old boys with a box of Kleenex.
Yeah,
Right on.
very true.
I always say that Orphan Red is proof that mass attracts mass.
That's what I always say. I always say I have a Cavendish experiment in my pants.
Yeah.
Jesus. And this is why we were on till 6 a.m. last night.
Yeah,
Right
I know.
on.
I'll show you some gravity.
it's gravity.
Oh, let's see. Oh yes, Curve. I had Bobby the Globe. His orbit training started today, and other than he was kind of all over the place, he did sort of kind of orbit the light in my room.
Yeah, well, Flicker's
I think I need to.
been out there having fun working with levels. Sean will
Yeah,
love that.
Flicker doesn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Flicker's, he's Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah, all done in
Yep.
Kruger and a trash picker.
Oh,
Hey, there's good pizza in the trash. Everything on it.
right. Did you guys? So we had the Jerry Hoffman was in here in the live chat last night, and he was talking all nice. Jimmy, you want to tell them who you ran in today on Jose's chat?
Yeah, so in Jose's stream today, Jerry was in the chat. He was saying that he went on a channel last night. I didn't recognize his name, so I was just curious when he was saying what he was saying. So he goes, I was on a channel last night, and basically all the Globers attacked him and bashed him. So I was like, oh, hey, was that the Flat Earth 24-hour Discord? He's like, no, it was Crash RC's channel. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I think we were fairly polite to the gentleman.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. Yeah. He said he didn't get timed out. So.
No, we didn't time him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, he's definitely at a loss. Our other goal that we're up to for the channel is last I checked before going live, I was at 95 subscribers. So 5 more, and Metal, my tech guy, will be contacting Death Wish Coffee to sponsor the channel because that's what keeps me alive after doing 6-hour nightmare long streams.
Awesome.
All right.
What a
I'll get you
nightmare.
those 5.
So, like I said, we're growing. It's going good. Definitely want to get a link to Sean's little debate hangout tomorrow. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll. Well, you get a. I don't know how it'll work.
Well, we should get a notification that you're going on at some point.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, like I said, I subscribe to your channel, so
I love
we should
Sean,
get a notification there. If you guys haven't checked out Blue Marble's video that he uploaded about 20 minutes before I went on air or so, his comeback at Riley's debunk of his cell phone video, that was awesomely hilarious.
Sean's awesome.
Yeah, Sean. I've been watching Sean almost since when I first came on the scene.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I caught him. I caught him. I guess around 30 subs or so, somewhere around there. Back around Thanksgiving, around there.
Cool. Thanks. Hold on.
Yep, big Blue in the live chat. Gravity, learn it and love it. The word is good. Love gravity. Mom said it was rude to do in public, though.
Oh.
Yeah, but Flicker says Sky.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
It's Skyvity. Skyvity.
Skyvity. That's a
Skyvity.
new one.
Yeah. It's not attracted towards the earth. It's attracted towards the flat sky. Yeah, that guy's numpty.
Like I said, I heard that the jet airplanes running on compressed air came up a lot for some reason today.
Yeah,
and
he's a chemtrailer.
Just that and the angle of attack shit that I heard all fucking day.
Love that one too.
So
aeronautics.
Yeah, so apparently they want me to. I'll be doing it after I get the wing put back together for Double D, our experimental aircraft that'll be flying later this week. They wanted me to map out angle of attack and thrust lines and everything on the aircraft. So I've got a picture of it in Photoshop I'll put together, but I'm not the greatest with Photoshop, so I'm still learning how to work it.
Well, you've seen my channel. I'm low production.
But it's funny as hell, though.
Thank you.
It doesn't get much lower than my production values on this channel, but apparently people like it because we had people here for 6.5 hours last night.
Yeah, we did, and it was in the high teens most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I managed to stay awake through most of it.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't go to bed till 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
I did get my beard. I did get my beard braided, but one of my lady friends is going to redo it and put the beads in it this evening. So
we'll love that.
It'll be, hey, and that's courtesy of you guys. So
yeah, well,
it all goes towards fuel costs for. Go ahead.
That's a total Viking look, man. I love it. Game of Thrones.
It'll be fun. Like I said, I'm hoping if the weather cooperates with me, I'll be able to finish reinforcing the main wing on Double D tomorrow. Get it vacuum bagged so the carbon fiber gets a nice shape to it and gets all the air out of it. I didn't really go over that. So last night when I was doing that live stream, I was running a simulation program in the background on my computer, calculating the forces that would be on this airframe during our dive, and I can manipulate different speeds, different rates of acceleration, and different weight. Everything worked on the aircraft right up until we added our roughly 5.5 pound container with our density column to the bottom of it. Ooh. Then some weird shit started happening. So after going over the math that it spit me out today and spending a good part of my afternoon figuring out what it was telling me, I have a torsional weakness in my main wing, front to back, that causes aileron flutter at high speeds with the extra weight on the plane. So I'm working on reinforcing the main wing so this thing does not turn itself back into a kit at the airfield, which would be bad. So, got rid of the aluminum support tube in the center of the wing, put a carbon fiber tube in that was thicker.
There you go.
And then I'm reinforcing the leading edge of the wing with carbon fiber reinforcements. So, should help. It's all strapped together on Zach's bench drying at the moment. So, I've taken up like 3/4 of the garage with the airplane.
Does your column have to be that big?
I've tried doing smaller ones, but they don't show up well on camera.
Oh,
And
okay.
then when we shrink it down, we run into bigger vibration issues. So through experimentation, I tried different various 1 and 2 liter bottles and different glass containers. And the thing we came up to that has the best weight ratio for being able to see it was actually a 2 liter Pepsi bottle with a nose cone on it. So it looks like my pattern plane is carrying around a giant fucking torpedo underneath of it. But it's clear, it's easy to see, and it was easy to get the vibration out of it once the airframe is airborne. And the other thing was it's still light enough that if it drops from the aircraft over the runway, it's not going to hurt anybody, because I did rig up an emergency release on another channel of my radio, just in case.
Yeah.
Pepsi's going to freak out when they find out you used their bottle for a bomb.
Hey.
What's this, the ISIS channel?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's if things went south in a dive, the easiest way to get out of a flutter situation is to drop weight and slow the aircraft down. So
you would just
I
drop
did
the
rig
bottle.
up I rigged up a release system for the bottle so I can chuck it off the bottom of the airframe.
That's awesome,
you put
man. That's crazy. You can do all that stuff.
Did you put Mentos in it?
What was that?
Did you
No,
put
I did not put
Mentos
Mentos in it. No, I am not putting Mentos in it. So yeah, I didn't design the drop mechanism. I just scaled it up from one that we have for the Mustang for dropping the fuel tanks off of it.
Don't be so modest.
I really didn't. I took we have a smaller foam Mustang that's got droppable fuel tanks. I just scaled up the mounts on it to make them work.
Right. No, that's cool, man.
And it's a single slave servo that pulls a pin out. And when the pin pulls, it pulls the safety pins out on the container's mount. So everything will drop away. And then if I want to, I could add a parachute to it to make it not impact the ground as hard. But I'm kind of thinking in the emergency situation, I just want to get rid of the bitch and save the airframe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we can fill up another 2 liter once it's back on the ground. Hence the experimentation flights that will be going on. If the weather holds out, because we had another fucking thunderstorm here today, I should be at the airfield all day Thursday, flying and testing different props and flying with just a container of water under the plane to get used to the weight. It does not change my CG as far as the wing is concerned, but it did have a interesting effect on the thrust lines of the aircraft versus drag with a 2 liter hanging off the bottom of it. So I got to see what it's going to do. On the simulation model I was running through Real Flight last night, about the only thing it changed is I'm going to have to add a lot more up trim to it to compensate for it. But the model is more than capable of flying it on the power system I have. To save a little bit of money on my end, I did play around with different props on Real Flight last night. And I'm going to take the 16x6 prop that I have, and I'm taking a 15x10 high-pitch prop with me for experimentation. I'm thinking the 15x10 is going to be the best prop for flying with the container underneath the aircraft. Let's see. That's my thoughts on it right now. So that's kind of the update on where we're at with Double D. She's getting the wings reinforced. Reinforcing some of the tail surfaces and controls just for the extra weight that the aircraft will be pulling out of the dive. if anybody needs them after this test, if any of my RC friends are listening, I'll have a couple really badass elevator servos for sale when this is over because they're way overkill for this plane. What else we got going on? So yeah, let's see. Big Blue, you got anything coming out besides your rally videos in the next couple days?
I don't have anything. Well, I'm working on some stuff, but it's not ready yet. So
cool. Then everybody check out Sean's channel. Said I just want to do a quick update stream on the Land of Flat Tardia that I was in. I did a 6-hour stream yesterday, y'all.
I just dropped
awesome.
the link to this hangout to to your channel on Discord, on a couple of different Discords. So I'm hoping to get some people in here.
That's awesome. Like I said, I'll be up. I may do another hangout later tonight. I don't know. Probably not. I'm still pretty wore out from last night's. But just wanted to get a update on the stupidity that I heard today. The stuff we'll be debunking this week. Update on where I'm at with the aircraft. Like I said, I'll be getting some videos and I'm editing together some still pics of Double D and actual video of the test runs on the motor from earlier today. I'm editing all that together, so it'll probably be uploaded tomorrow. Mostly I'm keeping them for my own records so I can do a nice time lapse of the whole project when it's all done on a couple RC forums that I'm a member of. It's generated a lot of looks in that community too because, nobody ever thought about doing experiments with their RC airplanes apparently. So yeah, you guys want to promote what you got going on? Sean, you want to drop what you got going on again?
Just doing a hangout, the debate hangout, just an open forum. Tomorrow it'll be, I don't know, about 23 hours from now, 22 hours, something like that.
Be sure to check Sean out. I will be there. And instead of doing I'll probably do a live stream right after that, or see if Sean will be nice enough to let me do an after show hangout.
Cool. Yeah, we can do that.
That sounds sweet. So yeah, I'll do an after show after Sean's, where we can get the people who are on the panel that want to keep talking, or maybe grab some people out of the chat and just come over here and discuss everything that happened on Sean's debates.
Cool.
Let's see. Oh, did you guys see Sean G's video about Chris's experiment today?
No, I didn't see it yet.
He burned him up. He burned him up.
Yeah, he wrecked him.
That's awesome. I'm going to watch it after this.
It was the same thing that Sean was saying it was. It was a reflection off of his fucking garage floor back at the bottom of the lid.
Yep.
2, Sean, did you watch it?
Yeah.
He didn't use a beer can on the floor.
No.
He hung his paint stick from the sky.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's what you were saying, Sean. You're saying it wasn't on the floor.
Isn't that Brobdingnag? Isn't that the floating island and the floating mountain in Gulliver's Travels? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, something. I watched it right before I went live here because it was only like a 12-minute video. Mad props to Chris Berry for trying, but you failed on both counts on that one.
Well, he tried, but didn't he have to be dishonest in trying?
Well, yeah, he's like a Matrix Earther and just mixed around. He doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about.
He likes red pill philosophy. That's his problem.
Yeah, he likes land-based observations. It's crazy.
I don't know that Chris was completely intellectually dishonest with that. I think he actually thought he came up with a replication of that.
Oh, well, I don't know what's worse then.
Maybe.
But the point was, in fact, I was on that hangout. Sean very clearly told him to put a beer can on the floor and reproduce that with the sun from overhead. And he ended up taping his paint stick to the bottom of his.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that rig, I'm like, that is nothing that any of us told you to do.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew if he did it right, it wouldn't work.
Right? So. He did his red shill version of how to manipulate the variables to his outcome.
Yeah, Topaz, that's that's what we're doing now. That's what Crash is going to do. He's going to put a density column into free fall.
I'm not putting it into free fall. I'm putting it into an accelerated dive.
Oh,
Jimmy,
well,
can
yeah.
you tell me what the difference?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the difference is with that?
I was just reading his comment. Say it again.
Can you tell me what the difference is with that? Why?
No, I meant
why
say-
I have to make the big point?
Oh, you mean to accelerate past the 9 point, the thing that grabbed 9 point per second, 9.81 per second. Is that what you're saying? So the density
Yeah,
will
why?
come. It will come back. It will. How do I say this? Yeah, it will rearrange itself. Is that what you're saying?
but
And then once you pull back up, it will arrange itself back together.
Right, but it has to be a power dive to maintain that acceleration. A free fall dive on the airframe, because of its still relatively lightweight and drag and the prop I'm spinning, I would reach terminal velocity quite quickly.
Very quickly.
We would get nothing out of our experiment. The density column really want to have in a free fall. I don't think I'll have enough time for the density column to even start intermixing with itself before I hit terminal velocity.
What's your terminal velocity?
Roughly calculated in a free fall dive with that aircraft based on weight, somewhere around 40 mile an hour.
That's kind of slow.
Yeah, it's got a lot of drag on the airframe. It is a fixed gear aircraft with big skirts hanging off the landing gear. It's got struts. It's got a lot of drag.
So it's
hence why I overpowered this. Hence why I overpowered the shit out of it for this dive. It's got almost twice the recommended engine on the nose of it. The other thing that happens is at idle, the prop becomes nothing more than a giant disc brake for all intents and purposes.
Oh yeah.
Especially the high pitch prop I'll be using. That's nothing but a giant air brake. In fact, I'm going to have to retune the idle on the aircraft in a dive because there's probably enough force on that prop to stall the motor at idle. We're pretty goddamn close. So yeah, that's things I'll be playing with Thursday when I'm at the airfield. But yeah, the terminal velocity on it is, just because of the weight of the aircraft and the drag involved, is not that high. If I just put it into a free fall, it would be relatively slow.
Okay, I got you now.
That's why when we were talking to Blue Marble Science, he made that big deal when somebody attacked me on the free fall. It's not a free fall. It has to be a powered dive in order for this to work at the scale I'm doing it at, just because of the weight of the aircraft. Terminal velocity will be reached very quickly in a free fall, which is something we're going to experiment with while we have all the nice data and telemetry systems we got from cruising with Jay.
Right.
So once I actually get...
Go ahead.
He's at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it really will it'll take some pretty fancy flying to pull that off.
Yeah.
Because you really have to match 9.81 meters per second. If you don't match it, it's not going to work right. If you overdo it, it'll just reverse itself.
Yes, which is one of the reasons I wanted the vector system, because with their new system, this is what I had running in the background last night that killed my laptop. So with the new system, I can plot in an acceleration curve that I want to maintain in the direction I want to maintain it, and link it to everything, and it will automatically initiate and maintain a dive slope to do its best to maintain that acceleration.
Right.
Which is cool. But I'm not sure how much of a delay there is on the manual override for that. So I got to experiment with that too. I'm not sure. So when I was on their website and pulling up the specs to this, because it piggybacks between my receiver and the servos which control the aircraft, there is a slight delay there when it's in autopilot. So I've got to figure out what the delay is between me wanting to manually take over and pull out of a maneuver versus what it would be without it type deal. So there's definitely some experimentation on my end to keep it safe. That's my big thing. This is not a toy aircraft I'm playing with. It has the capability to do some severe property damage or, kill somebody if shit goes wrong.
How much money do you have to spend to make one of those lawn darts?
The amount of money that between the telemetry system I have from cruising with Jay and the airframe we'll have in the air, there's almost $5,000 in the sky.
Damn,
That's crazy.
My car's worth more than that.
My truck isn't.
I don't think my truck is either, Sean.
By about $1.
But like I said, the airframe was cheap. I got the airframe for less than $200, but then you start adding all the digital servos. So we got there's a $400 servo on each control surface and 2 for the elevator. So that shit adds up really quick. And then we've got $500 just in the motor.
Right.
And all the other shit that nobody thinks about, all the fuel line, fuel tubing, push rods.
It's always been that way, Crash. I mean, even 40, 50 years ago when I flew the damn things, all the money's in the electronics, the engine. The airplane itself is cheap. That's the cheapest thing out there.
You can build an airplane out of foam core from the dollar store.
Oh, dude, I did. You have not seen my flying flat Earth model, Sean?
No.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, hold on a second.
Hey guys.
Hey, Metal.
You seen my picture, so you know I'm old. We made airplanes out of dinosaur hides and dinosaur bones.
That's right. Yep.
But there's a guy, I can't remember what his channel name is. He builds like experimental aircraft out of foam core, like all different types. And he's foam core and he's missing a couple fingers. At a prop accident, I think.
Foam board's awesome for prototyping purposes.
Yeah. And you tape it with this like clear packing tape, and then you trim out, you cut out some of the paper on the other side, and it just forms a perfect airfoil. It's amazing stuff. Yeah.
So there's my flying flat Earth model.
All right, on.
Yeah, but who needs fingers when you got duct tape?
Yeah,
that's true.
But and this thing, I have a bigger version of this that got T-boned by another aircraft at our RC field. That was 4.5 foot in diameter and powered and radio controlled. And I was test flying it for my first video, and one of the guys got distracted and said, "What the hell was that?" About the same time he flew a Sequoia into it.
Oh shit!
So didn't hurt his big airplane, but it turned mine into a large snow globe effect.
Oh hell yeah!
So,
oh man.
But yeah, dude, I built the radio controlled version of that for $2 in foam board at the dollar store, and fuck, it didn't even have the greatest power system in it. It didn't weigh shit, and it flew fucking great and looked cool as shit in the air.
Yeah.
I built it just to tell flerfs I had a functional model of the flat Earth before they did.
Right on.
And that was genius. Pure.
Yeah, that
genius.
was awesome that night. That was fun. That was a good time that night.
Yeah, I think what was just like 6 subs or maybe 6 viewers.
6 viewers, yeah.
Yeah.
We were on for a while that way. Heat Shield was there.
I had 35 subs when I did that video.
Yeah, and you can blame Heat Shield for that because that's how I found you.
That's how I found it too. I was in bed sleeping when she put that out. He put that out. Sorry.
I figured that stream would be really short and shit, and I was having Wi-Fi issues, and it was laggy as fuck that night. And Heat Shield's like, "No, you can't show your model off yet. I want to get some people in here." I'm like, "Okay." And then when I finally did it, and I called JM Truth out on his bullshit and told him how stupid he was, it went on from there. It was.
Yep.
Yeah, Heat Shield, he kind of runs around here. He's something else. I love Heat Shield.
Oh, yeah, Heat Shield's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. It's awesome. Like I said, I do have my beard braided for everybody that donated. We did hit that goal. Assholes.
You got to get those beads in it, man.
I'm working on that. When she gets home from work, she had to pick up some different beads because apparently when you leave chrome metal objects in a saddlebag in a leaky storage unit, bad things happen to them like corrosion.
Yeah.
So I was not putting them in my beard.
Well, hopefully they're not those beads from China that had what GHB in them or whatever the kids were playing with a few years ago.
No, these were They were actually 4 bikers. They were to keep my beard from flying back in my face while I was riding.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
You
yeah,
gonna put like is it gonna be like pretty colors, or is it gonna be just like like all one color?
I don't know. Is Laser Beams in the side chat? It was her idea, and she did win the T-shirt last night. So she said something about blue beads.
Blue beads.
Yeah, I've got a I've got a T-shirt, but it has beer stains all over the front of it.
Yeah.
Get some Get some stainless steel tubing, model fuel line tubing. Cut it sections off and make stainless steel.
Oh yeah,
there you
go.
That's
a good idea. Yeah, that's a good
tubes.
idea.
Make just two long tubes.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be awesome.
Like I said, appreciate everybody who donated. It's all going to cover the fuel cost for this because nitro fuel is not cheap shit. It's one of the reasons that me and Zach got out of flying the nitro-powered aircraft just because of fuel cost.
Well, why don't you let the people know in the chat how much that is again?
It's $45.59 a gallon.
Just buy.
I figure for between all of them.
Just use Everclear.
What was that, Sean?
Just use Everclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can buy cheap vodka for that.
Taka. Fill them with Taka.
Yeah, it's $45.59 a gallon, and I figure it's going to take not quite 2 gallons for all the flights and experiments I'll be doing. A quart of that fuel is going to break in the engine before it sees the air, which I got most of that ran through today and discovered we had a carburetor leak, so I've got the new O-rings will be here tomorrow for that. Yeah, just basic. Well, Blue's done it. It's basic shit of sorting out a new airplane. I don't care how well you plan it. When you fire it up, you're going to have some little issues to work out.
Yeah.
The other issue I had is I don't know who drew the blueprints for the push rods in this thing originally, but they had a weird angle on the throttle linkage to hook up to the carb, and it did not give me a very linear throttle response at all. It was like idle to wide open throttle and 13 degrees of movement from the servos. So re-engineered all that so I have a nice linear throttle pull now. Went with redundant servos on the elevators, so if one fails, I have another one to help, because that's my biggest fear with it. So for those of you that I don't have one on my desk, damn it. RC aircraft are controlled by servos, and even the big ones are only about 5, maybe 3 inches long, 2 inches tall, and I'll be putting a lot of stress on them little bastards just off the forces on the elevator to get it to do its thing to pull out of the dive. So I wanted to make sure I had heavy servos and a redundant system there in case one of them failed, I could still get back on the ground.
How much do your servos weigh?
How much do my servos weigh? So my aileron servos are 13 ounces a piece. The elevator servos are almost a pound a piece.
So you're putting some real weight in the air.
Yeah, all up weight on the airframe when we scaled it out today was 16 pounds without the container. And no fuel.
I've been hit with baseballs that weighed less.
Yeah. So it's not a toy bird. I've pretty much calculated out. I'm 3 pounds lighter than where I originally calculated I would be. So I'm happy with that. The bird weighs. How fast will it go? Its theoretical top speed based on prop pitch and RPM from the motor is over 200 mile an hour in a dive.
That's scary.
So it has the ability to haul ass. Do I think I'll be reaching those speeds? No. On the parabolic dive flight that I'm working for, that I've been modeling in the background and testing with, I reach about 150 to 106 mile an hour, 150 to 165-ish before I have to pull out of the dive.
So you could give somebody a pretty good chase with that on the ground.
Oh, yeah. That's why we're taking a lot of safety precautions with this whole deal. It's other reason that where I will be flying at the airport now for sure My model field told me there was no way in fucking hell they were going to let me do this experiment at the airfield.
Where I live,
So there's that.
Yeah, where I live, it's pretty urban. But if you get downstate, they have an airfield down there, but it's like about 50 miles away, 40 miles away.
Where I'm at, it's mostly open fields, but we do have a lot of small airports around. So there's lots of air traffic rules we got to follow around here. I mean, I could go fly out of the backyard with this plane if I really wanted to, but it wouldn't be the safest thing because there's a helipad for the hospital right down the road. So they fly well under 400 feet when they come over the house.
Yeah, they wouldn't like that
flying,
one bit.
Well, what's your
so flying it?
How long of a runway do you need to get that bird in the air?
Without the container, I should be able to take off in about 60 feet.
Well, that's not bad.
No, it's ungodly overpowered. Like compared to a real airframe, I have probably. Hold on, I was doing the math earlier. Let me pull it up right quick because I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me go to that screen. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you exactly where I'm at mathematically, but I haven't done the thrust pulls on the motor yet because it's not broken. All right, so theoretically, if I get max power out of what this motor is rated for and max thrust out of my prop, I should be able to generate right around 93 pounds of thrust at wide open throttle versus my 31-pound aircraft or 31-pound airframe in the air. So I was wrong on my weight. It's 26 pounds without the container underneath of it, which gives me right around 31 pounds with our container underneath of it. So that puts me right around, 3-to-1 power to weight ratio?
We used to fire SDC rocket engines out of my brother's bedroom window with a 3-foot section of 1-inch black pipe. We weren't right.
So, yeah. So, like I said, 3-to-1 is, I'm happy with that, but I was hoping for more. But I can't fit a bigger engine on this airframe.
That's only about 30 times more than a GA airplane would have.
Yeah. So we're way up there. Hey, I don't know. Have you guys seen? Do you guys know what 3D RC aerobatics is?
Lost.
Yeah.
You do aerobatic maneuvers with the plane with the wing generating zero lift. You're just flying off the thrust of the prop. It's amazing watching the guys do it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but those planes start at like a 6-to-1 or higher thrust to weight. So we have that's the nice thing with using a model aircraft for this. One, I don't have to worry about killing occupants, so I can enter the dive in all kinds of crazy ways to give me a longer time reference window for acceleration. Two, when I pull out of the dive, I don't have to worry about killing anybody at the bottom of the dive from G-force. So there's that going in our favor. Yeah. And I have a much higher power to weight ratio than anything that they use for the Vomit Comet experiments.
What's the most amount of money that you've lost turning one of your birds into a lawn dog?
Over 25,000.
At one time?
Yeah, it wasn't my bird. At one time.
Oh my gosh.
One time, not my airframe, and I buried it.
Drive it like you stole it.
Well, no, we have a thing with the AMA. If you're so for the AMA, since True Turbine Jets became an actual viable part of the hobby, they made all of us flight instructors go take specific tests. So I have to give you a test before you can legally fly your True Turbine Jet at our field, or pretty much anywhere. So it goes over the basics of starting the turbine, basic safeties, all that. And then one of us has to test fly your aircraft before you can fly it if you're not certified.
We just lit the fuse and ran like hell.
A gentleman showed up with a very nice F4 Phantom, which is not the funnest thing to fly in as a scale airplane. The jets, we're lucky if we achieve a 1-to-1 power ratio on them. They're not powered the same as a prop-driven RC aircraft. Anyway, I got him up, and he had his stick time on it, and he begged me to take it back up in the air and perform some aerobatics with it. And I got off the runway, and I came back down to do a high-speed low pass, and a servo failed at, I don't know, north of 180 mile an hour, and it pancaked all the way down the runway.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Wow!
Yeah,
180 miles an hour. Yeah, I bet you did.
Oh, it wasn't even kicked all the way up yet.
Oh, really? That's crazy. It's 25 grand. So what happened from there?
He wasn't really worried about it. The plane was rebuildable, but I did a bunch of fab work on a bunch of the shit that I tore up on it, and I think he ended up selling it to another one of our club members. So,
now, do you get like?
In fact, it's still in the air.
Yeah.
So, can we get insurance on them? No.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah.
We have to have insurance to fly. So I'm a member of the AMA, which is the Academy of Model Aeronautics. They give me liability insurance for, what the fuck did it cost me to renew this year? $95 to renew my AMA. And so it's $75 plus the fee for having my turbine waiver reinstated. So yeah, they're not toys. They're quite capable of. I have $1.6 million in liability damage insurance for a radio controlled airplane.
Damn.
Holy.
Oh, they will. When I worked at the hobby shop, it wasn't we had a sign for right over our big airplane displays that these are not toys. Best case scenario, they will hurt you. Worst case scenario, they will kill you.
Yeah.
And then had a picture of my buddy's hand where he playing with a small electric brushless RC plane, had to have 7 pins put in his hand and 3 of his fingers stitched back together.
Dang.
Because he didn't listen.
Well, Sean was just saying that the guy who made that, what are you saying, Sean? The guy who's made the, out of that foam core, he had some fingers missing because of a prop accident?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The brushless motors scare me. Like, so on the gassers and even the nitro planes, I have to start that motor. If something goes wrong with your ESC on an electric plane, you have a 20 or 30,000 RPM razor blade spinning at full speed right now.
Right now.
If you don't power your system on properly, you have a razor blade spinning right now.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, they are not toys by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Especially when you start getting into any of them that are over 5 or 6 pounds. They have the potential to do massive amounts of property damage.
Yeah.
Let's see. Topaz in the live chat heard an argument from FTFE the other day. Falling is an acceleration, not constant speed. If density even could cause falling, it wouldn't accelerate downward since pressure is greater downward. True. But of course, flatties care more about their delusion than looking for the truth. Also true. So yeah, like I said, if you guys that are in the live stream watching, be sure to check out Sean's channel tomorrow. So what do you got that set for, Sean? 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night?
About 5 or 6 Pacific time.
So yeah, so right around there. Everybody be sure to check out Sean, like and subscribe. I will be jumping on there to have some fun.
Cool.
And then we'll do kind of an after show thing here tomorrow night. In the meantime, thanks y'all for tuning in. I will be posting links Saturday I'm racing. Sunday when I get back, I will have the t-shirts for my award winners done and ready to go out, and taking pictures for the Team Double D t-shirts that will be going out. If the weather holds out nice, we will be getting the test flights finished up on Double D and hopefully getting the experiment done Friday, but we do have a thunderstorm potential for tomorrow. And the airfield is still recovering from the last week's storms that we had. So
over here, we currently have a thunderstorm going.
Yeah, and he's like 50 miles straight west of me, so that'll be heading this way. I'm not going to risk anybody's life or limbs taking off from a muddy runway or risk injuring anybody from losing control on the ground. It's a lot of power and a lot of weight. So,
not to mention, I'm not there to film it or get the VR headset on. So we're taking bets on whether or not I up truck or not.
Yep. So we're working on that. But again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Big Blue, you got anything to say before we leave?
Just have a good evening, guys.
Take care, Big Blue.
Be sure to check out his new Riley video. Sean, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Jimmy, how about you?
Oh, I'm good, man.
All right, remember to smash that like and subscribe button and check these guys out. Also, be sure to check out Jose JG. Yeah, hit the bell. Be sure to check out Jose JG Gonzalez channel. Truth Army, those guys been supporting me a lot, so make sure you check out their channels. Hit the like and subscribe button and tickle the bell. In the meantime, y'all have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow with an airframe update and let everybody know what the weather is doing around here. This experiment has come greatly under the threat of Mother Nature. So that is where I'm at, but we will be getting it done as soon as weather cooperates with us, if nothing else, early next week. This is the lovely thing about spring in the Midwest. You never know what the weather's going to do, and the weatherman's the only man who is paid ungodly amounts of money to be wrong. So, y'all have a good night. I'm signing off of here.
All right. Night, guys.
See you guys.
All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, later, guys.